5 watches for an old money aesthetic. Timeless men's style. Some men wear watches to be noticed. Old money men wear them to remember who they are. In this video, we're looking at 5 watches that quietly tell the world you've arrived without ever saying a word. By the end, you'll know how to choose timepieces that whisper refinement instead of shouting wealth. Stay with me till the last second, because the final watch is a secret most collectors never talk about. Welcome to 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤, where mature and elegant men master timeless fashion styles, learn to move with confidence, and are equipped to build deep relationships. Let's get started. 1. Rolex Oyster Perpetual Vintage Models. Quiet confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need diamonds, gold, or oversized bezels to feel important. It's the calm presence of a man who already knows where he stands. The Rolex Oyster Perpetual, especially the vintage stainless steel models, captures that feeling perfectly. No date window, no flashy finish, just precision, balance, and an honesty of design that's been untouched for nearly a century. Rolex introduced its waterproof Oyster case in 1926, and that single innovation reshaped how the world viewed reliability. Almost 100 years later, the same philosophy still defines their craftsmanship. This isn't the Rolex people rush to buy. Most chase the Submariner or the Daytona because those names sound like status. But the Oyster Perpetual quietly exists outside all that noise. It's the choice of men who value legacy over trend, CEOs in quiet meetings, old money heirs at lunch on the coast, men who don't need to flash credibility to feel it. Owning one is like driving a vintage Bentley with the logo covered. No one needs to see the badge. Those who know, know. And that's the paradox of the Oyster Perpetual. The less attention it seeks, the more respect it earns. It tells a story only a few truly understand, the story of a man who's done chasing applause, who values timing more than time itself. This watch isn't about time, it's about timing, knowing when to speak and when silence says more. 2. IWC Portugueser Automatic. Some watches are born to impress. This one was born to perform. The IWC Portugueser began in the late 1930s, built at the request of Portuguese sailors who needed the accuracy of a marine chronometer on their wrists. What started as a tool became a quiet masterpiece of proportion and restraint. Its beauty lies in balance, a wide open dial framed by a thin bezel. The symmetry feels deliberate, almost mathematical. There's something calming about its design, as if it's been measured to steady both the hand and the mind. That balance is what draws old money men to it. It mirrors a deeper truth. Stability isn't about what you own, but how you move through the world. This is the watch of the man who lives by the principle of measure twice, speak once. Every detail, from its clean Arabic numerals to the understated subdials, speaks of precision and purpose. Underneath, the Peloton winding system quietly powers it. A small piece of engineering brilliance known only to those who care about what's inside as much as what's seen. The Portugueser doesn't sparkle, yet it never disappears. It looks just as natural under a cashmere sleeve in winter as it does beside a linen cuff on the Riviera. Its charisma is subtle, like a deep conversation that lingers long after it ends. Some watches talk. The Portugueser listens. 3. Breguet Classique 𝐕 157. There are watches that borrow prestige, and there are those that were born with it. Breguet belongs to the second kind. This is the brand that once crafted timepieces for Marie Antoinette and Napoleon, its reputation built not on marketing, but on mastery. Every watch they make feels like a continuation of history rather than a product launch. The Classique 𝐕 157 is a perfect example. Ultra-thin, impossibly elegant, with a hand-engraved 𝐲𝐤 dial that catches light in quiet patterns. The blued steel hands are as much art as function, deliberate strokes of restraint that remind you beauty doesn't need volume to be seen. What makes it remarkable is its discipline. This isn't minimalism by accident. It's minimalism born of precision. Every proportion is studied, every curve deliberate. Science even supports this. Symmetry and proportion trigger a sense of calm in the human brain. That's why looking at a well-balanced dial feels peaceful, almost meditative. Wearing a 𝐕 157 says something subtle, that you're comfortable with your own legacy. You no longer need validation because you understand that presence doesn't require persuasion. It's the same energy as an aged mahogany library, quiet, deliberate, endlessly dignified. And though the design traces back centuries, it still feels modern today, precisely because it never chased trends. Like true character, it doesn't age, it matures. True class is geometry in motion, precise, quiet, and unwavering. 4. 𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐬. Some watches belong to the boardroom. Others belong to the man who reads before he speaks. The 𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐬 feels designed for that second kind of man, the thinker, the quiet scholar who values substance over spectacle. It's a watch that pairs better with a handwritten note than with a loud introduction. The design is pure and restrained, a thin, domed dial framed by a delicate case. It doesn't shout for attention. It sits with quiet confidence, more like a companion than an accessory. And beneath that simplicity lies serious engineering. The 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤 carries Omega's master chronometer certification, a standard that tests for magnetic resistance and precision at levels few watches ever reach. Inside beats the coaxial escapement, a mechanism invented by George Daniels and perfected by Omega. It reduces friction so the movement lasts longer and keeps its accuracy over time, aging not with wear, but with grace. Where the Speedmaster speaks of adventure and conquest, the 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤 speaks of inner mastery. It's a philosophical shift from conquering the world to understanding it. That's why old money men are drawn to it. They tend to invest in ideas, not trends, and this watch reflects that same restraint. Owning one feels a bit like writing with a fountain pen in a digital world, deliberate, intelligent, quietly luxurious. If wisdom wore a watch, it would look like this. 5. Longines Heritage Classic Old Money taste was never about excess. It was about judgment, the ability to tell quality from noise. The Longines Heritage Classic is proof that refinement doesn't always need a 5-figure price tag. It's a gentleman's watch for those who value authenticity over approval. The design takes its cues from 1930s Longines dials, especially the iconic sector layout. Perfect symmetry divides the face with subtle precision, creating that sense of calm balance your eyes recognize before your mind names it. It's vintage styling brought forward with modern reliability, heritage reinterpreted, not replicated. This watch carries an honesty that speaks volumes. It doesn't try to compete with luxury giants. Instead, it offers timelessness at a level that feels attainable, yet deeply sophisticated. Wearing it says you've moved past the urge to impress. You choose pieces for how they feel, not how they're perceived. Many understated men of means live exactly this way. They reserve their sentimental heirlooms, perhaps a Patek or an old Breguet, for family occasions, while their daily wrist choice is something like this, quiet, functional, and deeply personal. It's like wearing a wool blazer tailored perfectly to your shape, but without a flashy designer label. The beauty lies in proportion, in fit, in how naturally it belongs. The Heritage Classic doesn't shout wealth, it expresses discernment. It's the watch for a man who doesn't need to prove he can afford more. If you're still with us, write the word quiet in the comments. It's the perfect word for the kind of power these watches represent. Quiet craftsmanship, quiet confidence, quiet dominance. Bonus point, 𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐬 Reverso. This is our thank you for staying till the end. You're not just a viewer, you're part of a community that values quiet greatness. The 𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐬 Reverso is elegance with a secret. It was born in the 1930s for British polo players who wanted a wristwatch that could survive the impact of sport. So the case was designed to flip, protecting the dial mid-match. That small act of ingenuity created one of the most iconic symbols of discreet sophistication in horology. But beyond the mechanics lies something poetic. The Reverso hides beauty to preserve it, a perfect metaphor for how old money behaves. It doesn't display wealth, it safeguards it. The front shows refinement, the back reveals purpose. Two sides of the same man. One for the world, one for himself. It's a watch that speaks in understatement. The Art Deco geometry feels intellectual, yet playful. Heritage and innovation folded into one. For decades, it's been worn by collectors, writers, and quiet achievers who appreciate engineering that's as introspective as it is brilliant. Owning a Reverso isn't about showing success. It's about protecting what truly matters, your story, your legacy, your time. The Reverso is proof that true luxury doesn't crave exposure, it guards it. Conclusion. Refinement starts long before a purchase. Choose watches that reflect stability, not seasonality. Let your wrist tell the story of balance, not impulse. Prefer heritage over hype, because a name that's endured centuries will represent you far better than one that's merely trending this year. Remember, maintenance is part of your legacy. Keep your watches clean, serviced, and documented. You're not just preserving a machine, you're preparing an heirloom. And above all, wear intentionally. The right watch should complement you, not compete with you. All the watches mentioned today are linked in our Amazon storefront. Check the description for details. If you enjoyed this video, hit like to help it reach more gentlemen like you. Subscribe for daily insights on timeless men's style, and share this with someone who values refinement over noise. Thank you for watching. We've handpicked another video on your screen right now that we think you'll love. See you back here tomorrow.